this team. I kind of felt like he was almost a co-captain with Carson last year, the two of them. What kind of impact did you see Parker have last year, and what kind of impact do you think he'll make on the team this year?
Oh, I think he'll have a big impact, number one. I mean, I think he's been a leader ever since he got here. You know, he was a leader in junior hockey. He was a captain. So I'm not surprised that he's been wearing a letter here the last 2 years. I think I think you guys know how I felt about both those guys as leaders of our team last year, and I don't see that changing. I think he's in a way similar to Carson. The way they play the game, they don't take days off. They're your hardest working guys, and I just think they're really good in the room. I think Parker may be a little more vocal, if anything, if there's a difference, but I see a lot of similarities, so it's really nice to have him wearing the C, and I'm really excited about Wolfie and Billy too. I think those two guys have proven over the last 2 and 3 years respectively that, you know, they kind of epitomize what we're about as far as hard work and competitiveness and, you know, those types of things in team. So I think we've got good leadership.
A lot of focus gets put on all the defensemen you're returning. Shep, you got your leading scorers back, but maybe is the most important piece coming back from last year's team Parker and the leadership he can bring, because you talked about how important the leadership was to last year's team.
Yeah, well, I think it's important every year. There's no question. We've been pretty fortunate here the last. I can't remember. We've been blessed with good leaders, and I think that's really been important to our success too. And I think we've got a lot of important parts, but that is a big part of it, no question. It's good that those guys. It seems like every year we've had guys kind of learn and follow in the footsteps of real good leaders, and I think that's made our team stronger from that department. And the ultimate goal is from the top down, from the coaching staff down. The messages are the same, and I think that's really been the case here. And I see these guys continuing that with their role.
Scott, what type of golfer squad do you expect this weekend? Maybe even how much have you had a chance to look at them with how quickly this season is starting? Is this a team that's going to be like what we've seen in years past, or entirely new with Bob there? Are they maybe going to resemble St. Cloud State a little more?
Yeah, I would say that that's probably what they're going to eventually look like. Bob has to see what kind of pieces of the puzzle he has, but they've always been a really skilled team. I think year in and year out they get a lot of high-end players. Certainly their forwards and defensemen, and just looking at their team from last year, they've got strong goaltending coming back. I think Novak was hurt, so he brings another element forward-wise, but Sheehy and certain guys. I really, quite honestly, haven't looked at them. I'm more worried about trying to get our team ready. But if I'm going into the year, I'm assuming that they're going to look a little bit more like St. Cloud in how they play. But they're another team that on the big rink when we get there Sunday, usually those teams play very well on the big rink. They use it well. I expect them to be, certainly, with a change of voice at the top. The players are probably a little more rejuvenated. It usually happens, and I expect it to be a real good series. Just got to make sure we're ready to play, and it's hard too because we don't have an exhibition game, and it's been a long month. Guys you can tell already, they're getting sick of practice. They want to get going with the season, but we just got to prepare our guys as best we can, and if we need to make adjustments in game to game, we'll try and do that.
You talked about the importance of moving on and being ready to move on as soon as that ban was unveiled on Saturday. Does the opponent, in this case, help you maybe get that message across that it's Minnesota, it's a team that this program's been rivals with for decades?
Well, I think it certainly helps, get guys really excited about the start of the year. I mean, if you look beyond them, our first month is really difficult, but it certainly gets our guys' attention. Our older guys know we've had some success against them. Minnesota knows that. I know that. So So obviously they're looking to stop that. But I just think it's cool. It's a one-game thing here before we go on the road, and I hope the building gives us the 7th man for sure, because early in the year here, I mean, no one's in great game shape, and I'm not sure what the hockey's going to look like, quite frankly. I think I say this every year. There's going to be some good, some bad, and some ugly, but I think it's going to be very competitive, and I certainly hope that that's the case from our end to start, because that's what kind of team we're going to need to be again. But it's fun. It's fun knowing that we're playing them. I think feels like the community's excited about that too, and it'll be cool to hang that banner again and, like I said, move on and get with the game and hopefully end with a win.
Nick Wolf told me that from his standpoint, I think the words he used were, "I forgot what happened last year. I'm getting ready to, like, this is the number one team in the country we're playing this weekend." It's easier said than done to have that mentality. How important is it for your players to carry that through week to week, knowing how tough your schedule is?
It's really the short term. The short term focus is going to be really critical. It's easy to talk about the end of the year now, and I think you can really get caught up in that stuff, and if we do, we're probably going to lag behind. We're going to struggle, and our goal is to to get better each and every week, and this is a great test starting the year against again a very good team that I think is going to be better than most people think, especially in the Big Ten, and so we're looking forward to that. But short term, we've talked about it a couple times, and referencing last year means nothing to me. That's why I want to get this done with and get on with our year, and I think our guys like Wolfie and our leaders have done a good job with that with our players too. I think trying to get them to really focus on what we need to do now, and I think we've had enough guys that have played in our league, let alone college hockey, and they know how hard it is every week. And throw in our non-conference schedule this year, and there's there's not one. Not that there is easy weekends. There is not one easy weekend. So it's a really, really good challenge for us to see where we're at, to measure up to some of the teams that are pretty good.
What kind of impact can Noah Cates make on this forward?
Well, I hope it's always hard with freshmen. I think he's the youngest of the freshmen coming in. He only played the 1 year of junior hockey. The other guys have played 2, so they've proven themselves a little bit more at a higher level. But his second half of last year, or 2/3 of his first year at Omaha, was really, really good. They moved him to center. He had been playing wing, and he really took off. I think he had 43 points in 40 games, so he really. Some of that's an adjustment to junior hockey, just like I think there's going to be an adjustment to college hockey. But he's a really smart player, as is his brother. But I really like the freshmen that we have, and I think they're all going to have an impact in some way. How long it takes, I don't know. So that's where we need, some of our older guys to really step up and be good and be consistent early. And had to get after a couple of them already, just to make sure that I'm not waiting till November for you to get ready. And the younger guys are a little bit different boat, so you got to have a little more patience with that. But his hockey IQ is really good. I'm excited to see him play in games, and same thing with his brother, as I am Cole Kepke and Tanner and all of our freshman forwards.
It's the first year in the last 4. I don't think we have to ask you who you think is going to start in goal on Saturday night. So how valuable is having a returner at that position that's kind of solidified his spot, and a guy that never really considered it his spot last year. He kept pushing forward.
Yeah, obviously it's a great place to start. Last year we were in a totally different ball game. We were not sure who it was going to be. The last couple of years, like you say, I think we kind of knew Misko 2 years ago was kind of the front runner, but we wanted to create a battle and a competition. I still think that needs to be the case. Nick's pushing hard, and he's proven he can play and be successful and win games here too. And Benny is kind of been our number 3, but he's a battler. And but it's nice to have Shep coming in with some confidence from last year, and growing through the year. And obviously we expect a good solid year from him, but we can't rely on him. We're going to have to score more goals than we did last year. We're going to have to defend better because, again, teams are going to play play better against us. And they're going to try and expose certain things that we have, but he was a rock for us last year, and when we did have mistakes, he made the big saves at key times, and that's what you need in your goaltender, so hopefully he provides that this year.
Is that somewhat the same situation with your D-core? I mean, I think we all know who the top four are expected to be, but creating that competition and making sure the guys that are in the lineup Friday and Saturday are still fighting for those spots every night?
Oh yeah, they've been more. I mean, it's easy to get complacent, and it's easy to live off what you did the year before, and I think there's going to be some struggles at times, maybe more so than last year. That's sometimes the case, but when you have some success individually and collectively, I think I guess there's two ways you can go, right? You can want it more, or you can live off what you did. And I can tell you, we're not going to live off what we did. we're going to push and try and get more out of everybody, and make the guys that were here last year better. As an individual, and hopefully our team gets better because of that. And they have to do the same thing in practice. If they're out there at 75-80% just getting by, we're not doing ourselves any favors. We're not helping each other. We're not helping the team get better. So everyone has to push. That's why I said this is a hard month, because they've seen a lot of each other. They want to get going with games, and you need the games to kind of get into the real feel of the season. And you can only emulate so many things in practice, but we're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to do our best to make sure that guys are staying hungry, staying motivated, staying challenged, and if it means some guys have to sit in the stands, that means some guys have to sit in the stands. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's certainly a nice group to start with. It's nice to have a lot of guys that were a part of last year's group. They know what it takes to win. They know how hard it is, and hopefully we can continue to send that message. And I think our captains have done a good job with that.
Your staff is a little different from last year. How was Adam taking his roles?
Good. It was. It's great to have him back. There's no question. I know he makes the staff look a lot better, so that's a good thing. But he's certainly a lot smarter, I think, too. But no, it's just great. I had a lot of respect for him as a player. He was a two-time captain for me. He was, well respected. It was nice to get him on board early and kind of get going with some of the recruiting, getting him out there meeting people. It wasn't a lot of high-pressure recruiting right away, so he's done a really good job with being out there and just kind of learning that part of it. The second part of that comes now with the coaching and some of the bench things. But he's a smart guy, and we'll just ease him into it. But he's excited about getting going. It's great to have him there, and the beauty of it, he knows and helped build kind of our culture here, and being a player and being a captain. And I know the nice thing, he knows me too, so hopefully he can translate that to the players. But no, he's been a great addition. Players are going to love him, so we're looking forward to moving forward and having a full year with him right now.
And the new title for Jason, what has he meant to this program?
Well, a lot. He's he's an excellent coach. He's very detailed. Obviously recruiting is a strength of his. He's loves to be on the road. I think he's got a great eye for talent. But for me, he's a big X and O guy, and a very he's got a lot of ideas and really hockey knowledgeable. And I think that's really good for myself. But he's been here now in his 8th year, and all you got to do is look at where we've been too, and when he's been here. I mean, he's done a great job, so he's probably going to be the next one to go.
Scott, you got 2 coaches in the top 4 right now, and Rollick and Lars, both, like I said, both in the top 4. You got to not only be happy for them, but they both coached here. What do you think that means to the program? What does it say about the program?
It says I'm getting older, number one. So no, I mean, they're good. They're good people, number one, and they both have worked hard to get there. I mean, Steve was an assistant for a longer time. He's also a head coach in high school, but it's great to see him having success there, which I'm not surprised with. And you hope that when they're here, that they take a little bit from where they were. I mean, I know we all do. I did as a coach too, and I think Lars will do the same thing. But he's going to put his own stamp on the program, and you know what? I think St. Cloud is going to be in great shape with him. Looking forward to playing them in the second half of the year. Hopefully those games are have a lot of meaning, but it'll be weird. It'll be weird, certainly, you know, seeing him on that side, and it'll probably be the same little awkwardness for him, but I think he'll do a great job just like Steve did, so it's exciting to see.
With the banners going up on Saturday, do you get any added satisfaction putting them up in front of Minnesota?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, yeah, you know, yeah, I do. So, but it's just fun to hang one, you know. I mean, it's kind of ironic that it is them, because obviously that schedule is done way ahead of time. So, but yeah, I'm going to enjoy that for Saturday for sure. The only thing better is if we do it and we win the game.
Scott, when you look at college hockey in Minnesota and all 5 programs, what does it take in the past few years to see? I think it's safe to say, even going into this year, previous years, any of the 5, I don't think anyone would be shocked if they went on a run for a national championship. What's allowed all 5 of these programs now to succeed, and it not just be, you know, the Gophers at the top of the pyramid?
Well, I think number one, I think, you know, you look at all the programs, the coaches are really good. Their staffs are really good. They do a good job recruiting. You know, the programs recruit for their needs, you know, and I think that's a big thing. It's how you want to play. You recruit the type of players that you want to have in your program that allow you to play the style you want to play. Sometimes you can get sidetracked and get caught up in having all kinds of draft picks and having all the best players, but you still got to build a team. And I think, you know, if you look at Bob's teams at St. Cloud, you know, they're traditionally maybe a little smaller, certainly top heavy on the smaller skilled forwards. The power plays are always good, so I don't think that's going to change. Minnesota's had success with that. You know, Mike at Mankato gets older players, you know, not really into recruiting younger. It's kind of the same thing as Tommy. So, you know, everybody has their own style, and I think those guys do a really good job, not just as coaches, but as recruiters and getting guys to fit their program to play the way they want to play, and that's given them an opportunity to have a lot of success. So I think, you know, kudos to those guys. I mean, it's much like us here. We try and recruit the players that we feel are going to fit our style and fit our culture, and you know, it's allowed us to have more success here too. So I think that's a big reason.